you know we had to be here for this, okay? So if you don't know, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but today, a legend, my GOAT, tragically passed away. So today we're gonna talk about our favorite Kobe Bean Bryant moments. Rest in peace to the God. Rest in peace to the fucking legend. Rest in peace, of course, to the other people who passed away on that tragic flight. Rest in peace to his daughter. That was one of the saddest days ever. And which is crazy is we was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was together that day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Dog was about to go on this pre-COVID, obviously, but like this is when like Dog was really about to go on this internship
Yeah,
all across fucking country and shit
it
like
was cool.
that.
It was cool. It
And
was cool
his
experience.
last stop was to come see me you know what I'm saying? Go
Get
out for
lit.
the
You
weekend,
know what I'm
get
saying?
lit. Dog's birthday was like the next day. Like, you know what I mean? So like, we about to go do our thing, go
Enjoy
party, do our
ourselves.
thing, you know what I'm saying? Be slide out, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And we was having fun. Like we was doing our thing. Next thing you know, the night before I said, okay, let me put on my Kobe jersey.
Yeah.
Went out, had a great night too. Had a great time.
Still got the picture.
Yep. Had a great time. Woke up the next morning.
It was calm, and then what? It was like maybe like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Get a text saying, "Oh, R.I.P. Kobe." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm like, what?
I look online, and there's nothing besides a TMZ report. I don't. I don't really believe TMZ like that. I mean, I guess now, they have to be credible,
Facts.
which I didn't know until Kobe passed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't believe it. I was like, you know what? Let me check. Like, let me check again. 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, then it starts like to grow more, and then but it was more like, don't tell me it's not true, like it's not funny, which is how I think a lot of people were feeling at that time that
Absolutely.
heard that.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then when I saw LA Times post it, that's when like it really hit. I was really heartbroken.
Yeah.
I was so heartbroken. I was supposed to leave like that next hour
Mm-hmm.
to go home. I couldn't stand. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I stayed in the same spot for like 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Just a mess. Because, it's an idol.
Absolutely. Like,
When one of your idols dies, like it's in that fashion, it's terrible. I never knew like when other celebrities die, I used to be like, what are you crying for? When he died, I understood completely.
yeah.
Like if somebody's really important to you
Yeah.
like that or means a lot to your life, even if you don't know who they are, but you know them well enough from what their craft, interviews, stuff like that, and they actually inspired you in some way during your life, and they go out like that, like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna hit you. And like, there's people that weren't Kobe Bryant fans that were
Who didn't watch basketball a day in their life, but
yeah,
like
they were still
idolize
sad. Oh
him for
yeah, there
who
was
he was.
models and singers
Yeah,
like
like,
Kobe Bryant was like an inspiration.
bro, like even like the way he changed people's thinking on stuff. Like, for example, even like for example, for most common guys don't want to be. Most common guys, when they think of like having babies, they want a son. He changed the shit out of that. I'll tell you that much. He made being a girl dad something like really cool.
Yeah, he made it cool. Yeah,
He made it like really dope to be a girl dad.
yeah.
Like, most people don't do stuff like that. Like, then you look at like, first off, Dog won an Oscar for Dear Basketball.
My
Man won an Oscar. And
my
then you
guy,
look at like his critique, like when he did detail.
my guy won an Oscar just off of a poem that he just had in his heart and just wrote it down and put it out there just because it was in his heart. And he won an Oscar for it. That means it was that good.
Mm-hmm.
No way in the NBA ever has won an Oscar. I don't think anybody like in sports, like an athlete, has won an Oscar.
I don't think
It's not.
so.
It wasn't even like because.
Let me look it up.
All
I
right.
really strongly don't think
While
so.
he looks it up, that's what made it cool. Like because it wasn't like he wasn't trying hard. This wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna make this like the greatest thing. I'm gonna get an Oscar for blah blah blah. Nah, it was just what he had in his heart, and apparently what he had in his heart was so good. They say, you know what, get him an Oscar.
The only ones who did it was KD and Mike Conley right
What?
after him.
For what?
Something called Two Distant Strangers.
Oh, now I definitely gotta check that out. By the way, because this is news to me.
Oh, I didn't know they worked on that. They served as executive producers. This had Joey Badass in it. It was on Netflix.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All
I
right.
just
All
didn't
right.
know
All
they.
right.
I didn't know they
Yeah.
produced that. That it was
Okay.
dope.
All
Like
right.
that was
All right.
dope. I
All right.
didn't know
All
they
right.
produced that.
All right. But at the time, Kobe was the first one.
Oh no, yeah, Kobe was
Kobe
definitely
was the
Kobe was
first
the
one.
first professional athlete to ever win an
The
Oscar.
first one without trying.
Mhm.
Just
It's really crazy. Like bro, like I've been watching basketball. I was watching basketball before I watched football. Before I even found football because of Kobe Bryant. Like I was like, who is that? Like
different animal.
dog is out here wilding. And then when I got older and really like learned like the true aspect of competitiveness, bro, embodied
Yeah.
like he embodied what competitiveness really means. Like, and this is just the way like how like dog really never settled. Like you know what I mean? Like dog never settled at nothing. Like you would think like most time when pro athletes that are starting to get better at it now, but most time when pro athletes retire, they become an analyst and that's it.
Yeah.
They really don't do nothing after that. You may see them in a couple infomercials and like a little bit of endorsements to keep the bread going and stuff like that. Other than that, you don't really see nobody besides inside the NBA. Yeah. But like him, bro, he was everywhere.
Everywhere
Doing so much dope stuff.
Doing so much dope stuff, and people that weren't paying attention didn't know until he passed. But for people like myself, him, that are paying attention because it's Kobe Bryant, we saw the production studio he was making. We saw the shows he was making for kids and education. We saw the endorsements that he made. What was the one drink apparently he invested what, $4 million? Was it, how much was it, 40
oh my god, yes.
400 or 400. I know it's a big difference, but it ended with a 4.
It was $1 million deal.
Yeah, something like that. But the return was wild. But he was doing that, coaching his daughters, and like people didn't know. Like I said, if you weren't paying attention, you didn't know Gigi. Like Gigi was nice.
Gigi could hoop. Gigi could hoop.
Really hoop. Like, as people who follow Kobe, like we knew that he was coaching his daughter. We've seen his highlights of his daughter's basketball games.
When she hit the turnaround,
she was an animal. When she hit that turnaround, her father.
Man.
Her father at 14. At 14 years old, she had that. Man, she was talented. She was really talented.
Bro, like it's crazy. Like people like talk about like a lot of people. I wonder if like a lot of people remember like who's the first athlete they ever like was like, this is my guy no matter what. Not team, not anything. Just this is my guy. No, that was Kobe.
That was Kobe.
For Kobe. Me it was. I'm like, yo, bro, that's my dog. Like I don't know him. That's my dog. Like you know what I mean? Like. Yeah. Even like the little things, you could just see how polarizing he really was. Like when he was just like when he first shot his shoulder, like you throw a piece of paper away, Kobe, bow.
Yo, yeah.
Like
what?
The every little kid references. Like,
every kid, like yes, you just take that, you roll that ball up, and you just like
It's like when we start playing ball. Like the first thing I ever learned how to do was shoot a turnaround because he made it look so fire.
Yeah.
Like I didn't give a damn about layups, no jumps, just boop boop. Oh, pump
you just watch. Bow. Like it was one of those things where like. When you were a kid, well, I don't know. Maybe some people didn't watch basketball like that when they were kids. I did. I know he did too.
Damn right.
So, like when you watched him, you just like that's a winner.
Oh hell yeah. And
you're like, yo, like that's a winner.
100%.
Period.
100%.
Like, no matter what, like they could be losing too, and you're watching him, and you're like, that's a winner. Because you saw how much he wanted it so bad. And just the competitive spirit. Like, he just, like, I don't know, man. He just made you want to be better. Whether in any aspect of life. Like, he just...
Absolutely.
Like, when you, like, saw him, like, you just saw, like, somebody who really wants it. Somebody who's going to give it his all. 100%. No matter what. That's rare. And you can't teach that.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's what made it so remarkable because you can't teach it. The Mamba mentality. Nobody said that and was like, oh, that applies to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant made that up himself. And it became a worldwide saying for the last 15 years of his life.
Literally.
A saying.
Literally.
He just said, oh, it's the Mamba mentality because he gave himself the nickname for anybody who's watching this and doesn't know. Gave himself the nickname the Black Mamba. Now, mind you, that nickname stuck with him until his passing.
Yep.
Right? It still continues to stick with him to this day, of course. But when you're in the NBA and NBA players have nicknames, those nicknames are given by other players. Kobe Bryant was the first one to give himself his own nickname. And it stuck because he was that gifted. That says a lot about him. Not only as an athlete, but as a person.
And then it's like you just look at like what he gave back to the game of basketball is ridiculous. Like the fact that like Kobe is the most competitive person I've ever seen, and then like once he stopped. He started like remember when he was like on Twitter giving people challenges.
Yeah,
and they all went and did them.
Yo,
like
go back. Anybody who's a basketball fan, go back and look at the track record of the people he was mentoring, the players he was mentoring, and see what they did that following season.
They're all problems.
It was really a Kobe effect. Like
yes.
That's what it became like low key known as the Kobe effect. This dude was trained by Kobe, Kawhi, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving hit that shot in Game 7. You know what's the first person he called? Kobe. Giannis. Train with Kobe. What did he go do? That's the following season? MVP. It's the Kobe effect, man. He just makes you want to be better.
Like
that's really it.
I feel like Kobe has something, and I feel like the reason why he became so polarizing is because Stephen A. said it best. It's something we all want and aspire to be. Like we all, no matter what you do, you inspire to be somebody who's like that driven, that goal oriented, but then also like somebody who's able to give back that much. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can even start to speak about like his power on what he was doing with women's basketball. He was making that shit look so cool.
Nah, like if I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of low key, even though it's moving in a great direction still, I kind of felt bad because like, dang, like your biggest endorser is gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like your biggest endorser was gone.
I totally agree.
Like I did feel bad in that aspect too. Like, oh man, that's gotta suck.
It was, bro. Like that shit is crazy. Like that shit was crazy. Like
that's how we became like close friends when we were kids. Like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, it was the start of it. It was the start of it.
Like he was like, we were just like, yo, number 8.
I think it's like that man is nice.
That man is nice.
That man is nice. Like
I still remember to this day. I was here when he dropped 81. And we didn't see like the whole 81 because it wasn't on television. But you know, sometimes like some games, like it's like if it's like a blowout, they'll like switch over to the next game and see what's on. That game was so epic at the time because like at that point, I think he might have been at like maybe 60, and there was still so much time left to go, and they switched over to it because the other game was a blowout. I forgot what game it was, but they switched over to it. It was just put on ESPN, and we're watching this man just cook.
Was gone
like there's no tomorrow, and I remember I was just sitting there in awe, like in awe, like wow, like 81, even that what I think I might have been 8. I was still like, yo, 81 points.
That's ridiculous.
Are you kidding me?
It's the closest ever to Will.
81
it's the closest
points
ever to Will. Like, bro,
what? We'll never see that again.
I'll never get going to class that next day, and we had Mr. Nunziato for like what, the first time?
Dang, yeah.
And he was just like, "Did you guys see that game last night? Where we both went Kobe, like,
Kobe Bean,
that boy Kobe, like
Kobe Bean,
bro. Like dog was just so different. Like I just remember so many like, bro. Like I say, still like 2009, greatest year for me as a sports fan. The Lakers won, the Steelers won, and the Yankees won. Right? The Lakers win probably was my favorite one out of all of them. Like that win was just so powerful because like it was the first. Think about it, everyone kept saying that he couldn't win without Shaq.
Yeah.
So and he went and just did it, like, you know what I'm saying, to a T.
Yeah.
And then came back the next year
because they were giving him the worst teammates.
Yes, bro. And then he came back the next year, did it again. And then he beat one of the toughest basketball teams in our generation, in those Boston Celtics.
That Celtics team was tough, yo.
They were so
it's crazy they only got
difficult
one.
to beat. Like they were so difficult to beat. So like that, like I think of those moments. I think about like honestly one of my favorite seasons as a Kobe fan is the year he got hurt, bro. When he had when Dwight Howard was hurt most of that year. Steve Nash was old, but he was hurt also with like that calf injury.
Steve Nash was old, though.
Old. And when he was old and he was hurt and stuff like that, bro, the way that man was, we had the worst coach in Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah,
worst coach.
I still blame him. I still blame him for the
drop off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, the drop off, because people forget. Like, I know, like, watching Bron year 17 was great because Bron is Bron. But I'm not gonna forget what Kobe was doing year 17.
Bro, he was dragging
until he tore his Achilles.
He was legit dragging them to the playoffs.
Dragging because Mike D'Antoni didn't know how to coach that team. So Magic Johnson went to Kobe and said, "You gotta take over. Forget D'Antoni. You gotta take over." And when he took over, I think the record was like they said it was like 25-12. And mind you, 17th season, LeBron's 17th season, he didn't have to play that much.
Kobe played all the time.
Kobe had to play the whole time for them to win. And he did whatever he could to get into the playoffs. And unfortunately, right when the playoffs were about to start, what he did on Chris Humphries.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, what? Like, bro, you were going off.
Right then, tore his Achilles. Too much on his body. Especially at that age and that tenure of his career. All Mike D'Antoni had to do was figure it out himself, so he didn't have to do that no more.
And think about it, he didn't sit the full season. Think about it, KD had to sit the full season to recover from that. KD sat a full season to recover from that. Kobe played the next year. The very next year he played. Not a lot.
Yeah, it's not in the beginning though.
I'm not saying it, but not a lot. But he played, and it still was like it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And then like, first off, we talk about all these great moments.
There's so many great Kobe moments.
The way he went out, like 60 on the way out.
60 points on his way out. And he shot pretty well from the field.
Bro.
It was like 46% from the field, which is good.
Bro.
60.
I'll never forget. That's still, that was one of the best
moments
of my life as a fan of sports, period.
Yes, I agree.
Bro, I was in amazement. Like, you know, I'm like, bro, think about it. We're in a generation where it's like our generation, well, like this generation now coming up and stuff like that, they're more about Bron. Because, like, they got to see Bron, witness Bron more in their prime than they got to see Kobe.
Basically his whole career.
Yeah. I've seen Kobe in his prime.
Same.
Period. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not forgetting that.
Exactly. I've seen Kobe, witness Kobe in his damn prime. Like, you know what I mean?
But even with Shaq, like, you look back and he was a monster.
Yes. Like,
that's why they were nice.
Exactly. So, like, when I got to see, like, my greatest of all time go out and the way he went out.
It's beautiful.
It's special. Like, only very few people I've seen go out in that type of special ass way.
Absolutely beautiful.
Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter.
I don't think I can think of anybody else. That's another thing about, like, that's another thing about his death to me. Like, how it was how he died. Like, it was the most Kobe way. Like, dramatic.
Random,
impactful. The most Kobe way. And I remember hearing Tracy McGrady say that when he was, I think when they were like 19, 20 years old, he literally told Tracy McGrady, like, I want to die young. I want to be immortal. I want to be immortalized. That's crazy to think about.
Like, that's wild.
Because it's crazy to think about because, like, obviously, like, his I'm sure his opinions on that changed.
Oh, of course. But still, like,
kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah. But, like, still, like, that's that.
And now and then it happened, and he's being immortalized.
The crazy thing is, to me, what's wild to me is that, like, as a biased fan, as a reason why I am a Laker fan and all of this, he was immortalized to me all fucking ready. That's what's crazy. Yeah. He was already bro. They retired 2 jerseys, not 1, not 2. 1, not 1, not 2. And do you remember that year? I forgot why. Just remember, I didn't watch basketball really that year at all. But I remember being in college, being like, "Oh nope, oh I'm here for this though. This is Kobe night. I'm here for this.
Yeah, there's nobody
I'm here for this."
And I just want to say also, like, first of all, I think, like, out of all the teams he played, like, did you ever see this? Did you just ever see the numbers he has against every single team? My God, it's at least 40 points. He gave every team at least 40.
bro. He got
buckets.
on his retirement year, brother. He damn near got a standing ovation, damn near in every building.
Yeah, this how good he was too. And I'm even gonna bring up a flaw, and it's still gonna show how good he was. Kobe has the most missed shots of all time.
Yep.
And is still generally regarded as a top 10 player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how nice he was. He has the most missed shots in NBA history, but is still generally considered a top 10 player of all time. That's how special he was.
Like,
nobody cared.
It's like I took
Nobody
a lot
cared.
of the shit he did, and I just like applied it to how I was as an
That's
athlete.
what made him great. Like millions of people didn't idolize him just for his talent.
Yeah,
they idolized him as a human being.
Yes, like
the smartest athlete I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The only athlete that's ever made me like really like listen. Like basketball's my favorite sport.
Absolutely.
But when I first played basketball as a kid, like I didn't like think about basketball in terms of like up here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember when I was in like fifth or sixth grade, I think Spike Lee put out a joint, Kobe Doing Work.
Yep.
And the whole hour and a half was about one of his games and him like talking about preparation, execution. And as a kid, I'm like, damn, I didn't know all this went into basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like ever since then, like that made me give like a real like analytical approach to the game, like in terms of like my IQ. Like, okay, then I started seeing things differently on the court. Like then I started to really think. Yeah. At first, when you're a kid, you're not really thinking. You're just thinking like, one, just don't turn the ball over, and two, just get your buckets.
Facts.
Right. But then it became like studying like different defenders or studying like their movements and studying your teammates and how they like to play and just being like a coach on the floor kind of. And like that he is the reason why I started actually like really paying attention to like the IQ of the game or like the I don't know how to really explain it, but like what makes players great. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like the details.
Of course.
The details of the game. I started paying attention to it because of that film. I was gonna call it a movie, but I'm like, it's not a movie.
I mean, shit. Like, I get it. Like, I remember like my high school senior year of football, right? The most lopsided year of talent ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I can even go back to like my 10th grade year when our boy left. When our boy left, who was literally blatantly gonna be pushed as a star. That shit was blatant as day. Yeah. Blatant as day.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Since we were kids, he was rumored he was going to be like the next god. Like literally, they put dog on the biggest pedestal I've ever seen. Yeah. They really thought he was the next thing to Christ.
He just liked to play.
Yeah, like he just really liked to play, but they literally was like immortalizing him before
he just liked to
put
play,
the pads on.
He didn't care.
Yeah, so then like he took the best opportunity for him and he left. And I'll never forget when he left, they just looked at me and said, D, it's on you. What? And I'm sitting there like, bro, I'm 15 years old, bro. Like, I'm 15. Like, I'm like, it's on me.
Yeah.
What? I didn't really even train for running back that year at all. But I had to play. I had to go do what I had to do. And the first thing I thought of was just like, boy, if Kobe could do this shit and drag Kwame Brown to the playoffs and drag Smush Parker to the playoffs, Sasha Vujacic, Jordan Farmar, like all these players.
I like Jordan Farmar.
He's alright. Like I like all these players. If he could drag them to it, why can't I show the same effort? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because no matter what on that court, no matter who he was playing with, dog worked harder than everybody there. And I took that mentality my whole entire athletic career to be the hardest working dude ever. I was always sweating to the last tee. I was always dragging. I was always exhausted. And I always made sure, and it's because of Kobe where I was like, nobody's going to outwork me. Ever. Like
there's so many Kobe Bryant memories, like just as a fan.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like I could go on and on about the games I watched him play and was like, Jesus. But I remember I'm a Miami Heat fan. And I remember when I was in 5th grade, I think, there's a game with Heat versus Lakers. And it'll probably be one of his like best highlights, but like he had a game-winning shot, and I remember being like, "This is the luckiest game-winning shot ever." And like my cousin was a Lakers fan, and he was just like, "Nah, bro, that's Kobe." Blah blah blah. In my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, it is Kobe." But I was like, "Nah, it's the luckiest shot ever. I
Yeah,
don't
because you
care."
are a Heat fan.
Yeah.
Like,
But what made me feel better though is that they asked him about it, and he goes, "It's a lucky shot." He goes, he said, I just hoisted that thing up there. He did. If you go, if you ever, anybody wants to check it out, I promise you, he just chucked
That's
it.
the joint where you threw it off the backboard.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what
just
you're talking
chucked
about.
it, yo.
That was a legend. I remember I was going crazy. I remember
Bro.
I couldn't wait to see you that next day in school. I was
Just,
like, "Hey, yo, sir."
bro, he just chucked it.
I could
what?
not wait to see you that next day in
Bro.
school. I was looking at you like, "Hey, yo,
I was like, this man Kobe, yo, like,
what's up, bro?
what a
You
guy.
good?"
I couldn't be mad because it was Kobe. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
Like,
he's literally just a
I
legend.
couldn't be upset, and like, there's nobody.
Like,
There's nobody with more stories about them
like
than Kobe Bryant. If you were to look up like stories about Kobe, you would probably find at least 30.
100%.
And if you read and hear them all, you're just gonna be inspired.
Absolutely.
Because it'll either leave you with he was that like damn like he was that great, or like, you know what, like I want to go do something productive.
Cause think about it, this before COVID, so like I can legit say I haven't seen the world so at loss and shut down since the death of Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, that's the only one you can compare it to.
Yes, like I remember, like I haven't seen the world in such disarray for that long.
The world literally stopped when he died.
Absolutely,
that can't be disputed.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
I don't care if you're a basketball fan or not.
Mm-hmm.
The world stopped.
The world literally halted when he died. That is a pioneer. That's a legend. That's every word you could possibly throw out. How great he was.
A sports icon.
He really was that.
Not basketball, sports. I remember the day before, right when he died. It was the
It was a night.
The All-Star. No. It was also the All-Star. Like, it was the NFL, the Pro Bowl. But
yes.
It was like the event thing that they did.
Wasn't it like the night before? It was when LeBron passed him in points.
Yeah.
Time?
But like that afternoon, like they asked Derrick Henry. They said, "Who's your favorite athlete?" He said, "Kobe Bryant." A football player. There are other football players you'll see like in the Pro Bowl where like how much Kobe meant to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's Kobe for some of them, or a couple of them, inspired them to play football. How's a basketball player inspire you to play football?
Bro, I could be one of those people.
You know what I mean, yo?
I am one of those people.
Bro, soccer players were like, he inspired me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, models, singers were like,
Selena Gomez.
Like, he inspired me.
Like Selena Gomez. Like, what? Like,
dude, just a special, like I said, it wasn't just his basketball talent. It was what he represented in terms of excellence.
100%, bro. 100%.
That's it. And like you just got inspired because like it was a type of work ethic that you can't teach. And just naturally, like I said, naturally inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally inspiring. He was just that gifted as a human. Smart. Like, you know, I'm sorry, I take that smart. Brilliant.
Intelligent.
A brilliant mind. If you watch one Kobe Bryant interview, brilliant mind.
Like,
speaks what, like 5 different languages?
Something like that, yeah.
What?
Like his will to be better
at everything.
At every little thing.
If you told him he couldn't do something,
he was going to do it.
Yeah.
He was going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing, like, I feel like when one thing since he was gone that, like, I would say helped me get over it, a lot of it was just, like, when I would watch his interviews and shit like that, it was just more of his, like, more about his belief in himself. I think that was the one thing I learned more about. Like, his death made me force me to learn more about me.
It used to be,
his belief in himself was crazy.
It used to be seen as arrogant, but that's because nobody's ever seen that before.
Exactly. It's like,
that's all.
And it's crazy. It seems arrogant because like most people don't believe in themselves to that higher standard.
Exactly.
Like most people, like when they see like somebody tells them you can't do something, they just tell you. They take that serious. They just take it as a fact.
Yeah.
And Kobe's like, yeah, fuck, I'll show you.
All right, bet I can. All right.
I'm gonna show
Hold
you.
my beer.
I can do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Hold my liquor.
The fact that like he can, the fact that he saw that, the fact that he even did that is crazy. Like the fact that he would just be like, I can't do this. Okay, watch.
He was even like that as a kid.
And like
you can't
that's
teach that.
bro, like I really applied my life
So,
to
like,
that. Like,
anyway,
like
I
remember,
always
think about it.
remember-
Like I remember
I
telling
remember telling
you
you, I was just like,
about like when I was trying to figure out the school shit and I didn't want to go. And I just remember telling you being like, I remember telling you, I remember telling my father, telling anybody who's pretty much asked me, which a lot of people at the time, I remember telling them all the time, being like, I don't need a degree to be successful because I believe in me more than I believe anybody fucking else. Like I was like,
yeah.
I'm going to be me. I'm going, and like I got that from Kobe. So that's what like, even when like life stresses me the fuck out, and Lord know it do. Like, you know what I mean? Even when it's like, yo, bro, like I'm broke or something like that, or I'm doing this, like this shit is just not hitting right now. I know I'm always gonna be okay because I'm willing to bet on myself versus God himself all day long. And I got that from Kobe because Kobe didn't take no prisoners, no fear. Like, bro, you see this boy in the court, he wanted to guard the best player of all time. I seen videos of him guarding centers like Dwight Howard. Why is he guarding Dwight Howard? Makes no sense.
I'm glad you
But,
brought
like,
that
bro
up.
was lethal.
I'm glad you brought that up because we need to get one thing straight, okay? His defense.
Oh my god.
Nobody wants to talk about it. That's what his defense is what makes him a top 10 player.
Absolutely disgusting.
He will lock you down. What was he? 8-time first team defense?
Something like that, yeah.
I think that's like the third or fourth most
ever.
Only my basketball fans will know what that means. The third or fourth most ever, but nobody talks about that because of how great he was as an offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that defense, those accolades, that made him a top 10 player because now you combine both. Like, he will drop 30, 35, easy, and then guard your best player. Like, all right, what's up?
And lock his ass down.
Yeah, what we doing?
That was the scariest part because he really was just locking niggas up. He was locking niggas up.
Bro, his defense was crazy, yo. Like, especially like when he was really serious too. Like when he wasn't he wasn't playing around. I'm telling you, listen. There's no player with more stories about them than Kobe. Okay, maybe Michael Jordan, but like it's wild. It's wild.
In
sports.
Damn near in sports history.
Listen, my favorite Kobe story was when they said he was playing the Charlotte Hornets. Mm-hmm. Well, it was the Bobcats at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was shooting, but it was off. He was off more than usual. You know? And he would talk to the guy, like, I think it's like some, like, I don't know what they call him, but he has to fix the hoop and stuff, right? So he was talking to him, blah, blah, blah. And one of the players is shooting on the other side for the other team, getting his shots in before the game.
Yeah.
And the Kobe walks over to him and says, "What's up?" Whatever. And then he was telling him, like, yeah, the hoop is off by a quarter of an inch. So the other player was just like, yeah, right, yeah. Because, you know, he's not going to argue with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
He was just like, all right, yo, bro, maybe you're just off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So during the game, after giving the Bobcats absolute work, okay, the other player who was shooting finds the guy who fixed the hoop and asks, hey, what was wrong with the hoop? And the guy told him it was off by a quarter of an inch. What? Like, what?
Like, that's just crazy.
You know how
much detail?
You know how much of your craft you have to perfect to even point that out?
Bro, like, and that's just all taking how many shots he takes.
That's what I'm saying.
Regularly. Like, to know
he had no flaws in his game. Zero flaws. Zero flaws. And to all my LeBron James big fans out there, he literally said himself also the day before Kobe died. He had zero flaws.
There's nothing Kobe couldn't do.
He has never. You will not find LeBron saying that about anybody else.
There's nothing Kobe couldn't do.
Bro, he tore his rotator cuff and proceeded to drop buckets with his left hand. Actual jump shots.
Learn how to shoot with a left hand. Like,
the hell is wrong with him?
Bro, like, it's like that competitiveness to will to win. It's like,
bro, like, what? Watching before playing against Allen Iverson, watching sharks catch their prey.
Like
what kind of psycho shit is that? But that's what made him so great. And the best part about it, the reason why he's so loved, like I said, is because he saw it. Everybody else, he don't even know you, but like he just thinks that like if you have a passion for something, like go do it. Like if you're gonna do something, give it your all. And as human beings, sometimes we forget that.
Oh, 100%.
Naturally forget that because we know. That's what humans do.
We fuck up a lot.
But he was one of those people that's like, for some reason, like he didn't. It's like, but he's a very rare individual, and that's what makes him special.
That's made him great, bro. Like Kobe is just like
Even NBA players, now mind you, every NBA player
man.
has, or at least the majority of NBA players have to put in a lot of work to get to where they're at. Kobe made you look like that you didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you did? Oh, okay. I'm going to do this. It's going to make you be like, all right. He was that talented. Even coming out of high school. Like, people forget. He wasn't the phenom like Bron was. But coming out of high school, he was a huge deal.
Oh, absolutely.
You know how many commercials and TV shows and music videos he appeared in?
My dog took Brandy to prom.
Oh. I'm glad you brought that up too.
Oh my god.
For those who don't know, and for those who need a history lesson, a cultural lesson,
Brandy was that.
Brandy in the 90s was the it black girl. Is that the best way to describe it?
Oh hell yeah.
The it black girl. She was the first black. I think they made Barbie out of her, right?
Yeah.
It's the first black Barbie.
Think of it. She was in
Cinderella.
Cinderella,
like, and she was a famous singer. My personal one, my favorite female singers of all time. I think her voice is incredible.
Her voice is fire.
Yeah, and I think she has great
dope too.
Yeah, and I think she has great music. But she was a real celebrity. Not like not one of those like, oh yeah, like I see her in a few stuff. No, she was.
You knew Brandy was in the 90s.
You knew who Brandy was.
You knew Brandy was in the 90s.
And Kobe took her to prom.
Like, if that ain't greatness, bro, I don't know what is.
Showed up late and everything. You can show up late when you take Brandy to prom.
What? Like, if I got Brandy at the prom?
Come on, dude.
Well, why am I gonna run early if I got Brandy at the prom?
Come on, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though like people forget, because LeBron came out as a phenom, but like Kobe was a very big deal. Like I said, guests in music videos, commercials, TV shows. Won the dunk contest as a rookie.
Yep.
Got voted into the All-Star game his second year or third year in the league. And he came off the bench. Not in the All-Star game. On the Lakers, he would come off the bench. Now, I will say, though, I do kind of think like they was doing him dirty in the beginning.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because everybody knew he was nice, but people knew he was nice enough to vote him into the All-Star game, and he came off the bench in the season. He wasn't even a starter in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But people saw something in him. That was like, yeah, he's got it.
It's like the way he got like hyped up for certain games. It's like I say, like, since Kobe left the game, it's like you're starting to see more of it now. But I would say the thing I say that we missed a lot about from Kobe when he left the game was the amount of competitiveness. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you knew what type of time Kobe was on when he was playing, when he was going against a like he made sure. Like, him and Jordan made sure that they was going to get both each other work.
Yeah.
No matter what, they were coming to cook somebody. When he played against AI, he revved up for that game.
Michael Jordan.
T-Mac, LeBron, KD, Kawhi. Like, he made sure that when he played those guys, it was on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care if it's June. I don't care if it's February 11th on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock. I'm coming to smoke you.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that competitiveness is missing in the NBA.
I agree. It's not there no more.
No, because like think about it, because we got shit like load management and shit like that now. Cause so it's like
it's not there no more. It's whatever.
It's sad, bro. It's like I think that's the thing that bothers me about basketball.
Kobe was the only one.
The most.
Kobe was the only one that Michael Jordan was like, yeah. You saw how heartbroken he was when Kobe passed.
Hell yeah.
And Jordan's known as one of the greatest basketball players, if not the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm trying to, I'm just,
Me impartial, I get you.
Yeah. In my opinion, he's the greatest of all time. But yeah, he was like, nah, Kobe. Just him. Kobe's the only person they said to actually talk shit to Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kobe, like they said, Jordan said when he like first retired. No, sorry, like his last year. And as on the Wizards. So apparently he walked into the locker room and he was talking, like Kobe saw Jordan and Phil talking. He went to Jordan and goes, I can kick your ass. Nobody had the balls to say that to Jordan.
Of course not.
But Kobe. That's not an exaggeration either. But Kobe Bryant. Listen, Jordan said one time Kobe had like one like bad game.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan goes up to him and says, you couldn't even fill my shoes. They say he was pissed off so much. Next time they played each other, I think he dropped like 50 something.
Yep.
That's who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Bet. All right.
He
Rock.
made sure to like he was always like. I feel like he saw like you playing better than him was like more of like him of you outworking him. And I feel like, and that's what made him so psychopathic. Like, you is not about to outwork me on no type of time. I don't care what you do.
He's not. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, yo. Like, besides, I think I saw Chris Bosh do it, but like, Kobe's the only player I've ever seen like cry after losing in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying he was like bawling his eyes out, but like, you saw the tears. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he cared that much, yo.
Yeah, because it's really about you're coming up short.
Like, everybody wants to get a championship in the league, right?
Mm.
But like nowadays, it's like, yeah, well, championships don't mean that much, blah blah blah. Kobe said, "Fuck that."
Yes, it do. Like, yes, it do.
If it don't mean that much, then why am I here?
Exactly. The will, you have to have will to win. Like, that's one thing I respect. Like, I can't respect you as an athlete if you don't have will to win. That's like the basic, like, that is the most basic guideline. Well, we here to win. Yes, you're making millions of dollars. Yes, your family's set. Yes, you made out the hug. You made out the show. You made out the streets. But we are here to win.
Well, now, then it becomes, well, why are you really doing it?
Exactly. It's like, bro, what? Like, think about it. You sit and like, you can't tell me, like, nobody can tell me that they don't want that. Where it's like, you see people at a trophy celebration and dudes are dead ass crying because they're so happy because of all the work it took to get there.
Yeah.
And the journey to get there. You can't tell me you don't want that satisfaction at the end of the road, bro.
Yeah.
And then the thing about that is, mostly what happens to most people is they win, and then like they don't get to go back.
Yo, you know what used to bother me?
They lose the hunger after they win. Kobe always had that shit.
You know what used to bother me?
Tom always had.
Like, I used to hate when people were like, "Oh, like, oh, he's being so mean to his players. Like, he's being soft.
Come on,
soft. You know why? Because no other players felt that way. The players didn't feel that way, especially the ones that were winning, the ones that he won a title with.
Facts.
They love the hell out of Kobe Bryant.
He was just trying to make them better.
Yeah, this is what it takes. He's saying this is what it takes.
He was just trying to make them better.
Basically saying if you can handle me, anybody else that go play you, mean shit.
That's exactly.
I mean, you just don't mean shit. I used to hate that. Oh, nobody like no. Stop being soft. All right, stop being soft.
Kobe's really like a players and athletes guy.
He's a one of one.
It's the best way to describe it.
He's a one of one.
So to wrap this up, I'm gonna let you go first. Your final moment. Your final Kobe tape.
Kobe Bryant is the perfect example of somebody who embodies excellence and growth. That's what he is. That's what makes him special. He's a top 10 talent of all time, at least. And if anybody says different, don't talk to me about this conversation. And I just still can't believe he's gone. He'll always be one of my idols. There's not one highlight or interview I have not seen before he passed. I've seen everything. Somebody I'll always look up to. And may him and his daughter and everybody else on that plane rest in paradise. Just somebody that always stick with me. Mama forever. You heard?
For me, I'm gonna leave. My final take would be, first off, you are my idol. Kobe Bryant was my idol, is my idol, forever my idol. And because of him, I wouldn't be able to have worked so hard for all the shit I want to do, for the things I want to do, things I've done. Like, a lot of my accomplishments are because of Kobe Bryant, and his will to win inspired me in ridiculous amounts of ways to have drive, and what drive is, and what passion is, and how sometimes life is not easy. But the thing is, you got to keep fighting, or what? He showed me what real legit, what purpose is and what comes with it. You know what I mean? In the words of J. Cole, there's beauty in the struggle, but ugliness in the success. And he really showed me what that meant and the empowerment of what that is. So I think my final take for Kobe, bro, is just like, thank you. Like no matter what, I will always make sure that
Word.
like your legacy is kept to the top tier. Like to me, you can't talk basketball period if you don't talk about Kobe Bryant. And
Before and after.
us Kobe fans will never, 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 never let you be forgotten. Especially the hardcore ones who like love basketball. We will make sure your name will always be spoke upon in the game of basketball.
A real life hero.
No matter what. Mamba forever. That's what the forever really. I got the forever part on my name from Kobe. Like it's all like, bro. He is a legend, bro. A
Icon.
legend. He's a legend that will, no pun intended, will live forever.
Forever.
Thank y'all. So like, let us know your favorite Kobe moments. Because we might have missed some. Because like, bro, we could have had like a 3-hour conversation.
Oh yeah.
We wanted to go stat for stat. We could have
Yeah.
had a 3-hour conversation
Yeah.
about the shit. But y'all already know. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. He'll probably be here too. Well, let's keep it a stack. Like, you never know. So we gonna see y'all soon. Y'all already know the vibes. Bang!